Oh, the canoe skin, couché.
Oh yeah, that's a great canoe. Man just escaped me. I did not know. I came
That's
so
mixed
late.
what?
I came late, so I never knew this. Think by Choi.
Today we've got an interview with a book author, a nonprofit, and Gary Marshall. He talks about his movie Mother's Day. But up first, please welcome Jeff Gillenkirk, author of Bitter Melon, Inside America's Last Rural Chinese Town. So Jeff, tell me a little bit about this book, Bitter Melon. Why this story? Where is this place? And why should people care?
Well, first of all, happy Asian Pacific Heritage Month. KPIX Channel 5 had a great event kicking that off last week. And it's great to be honoring our heritage coming from the West rather than the East, and an honor to be part of that. This book came out in 1987 originally. We're in our 6th printing. And it is enduring as a completely, totally interesting town, both for its history and for its current struggles to remain, to preserve its historic legacy. The town was created in 1915 when a nearby Chinatown burned down. And it was an extraordinary story of perseverance. The Chinese pioneers had come to the Sacramento Delta to build the levees there that created the farmland, and they stayed to farm the land. And it was the only place in the West where Chinese were not driven out of the rural areas. From Washington down to Chula Vista, California, there was anti-Chinese violence leading up to the Chinese Exclusion Act in 1882. That act was not repealed until 1942. During that time, Chinese in the countryside didn't survive except in the Delta. They had built the economy, they had built the infrastructure, and they stayed, and they built these towns, these absolutely fascinating towns. 3 of them still exist there. 2 of them, the Chinese parts of the town, are sort of ghost towns. But Locke itself, which was built in 1915 as an all-Chinese town, and it remained an all-Chinese town until 1970, had this incredible vitality to it as the center of this agricultural region that the Chinese had built and had worked the land there as the farmers, the labor force, and then the people who supplied all of the rich cultural background to that area. Why is it? I mean, one of the reasons it's interesting is it was because most of the immigrants at that time were single men. The amenities in the town were all geared towards single men. Mm-hmm. So you had gambling. 5 gambling houses in a town of 600 people. You had 5 whorehouses. You had opium dens. You had speakeasies during Prohibition. So all of the ranchers from around there used to come into town as well, the white ranchers.
Were there a lot of problems there?
They did not. The place was highly regulated by the Chinese Tongs, the leaders of the Chinese society there. And the sheriff, it was an unincorporated town, so it was subject to county jurisdiction, and the sheriff, let's say, was on the payroll, and he kept peace from the outside coming in, and the Chinese kept peace on the inside. So there were some, crimes there with that much vice going on, but it was not a fearful place at all.
Now this book titled Bitter Melon,
Yeah.
first published in 1987.
Yeah.
Catchy title. What's the story behind the title?
Well, as you know, the Chinese called California Gold Mountain. And people came here expecting something, to be rich and to be accepted. And they found a lot of pain and discrimination and bitterness instead. And bitter melon, you order a bitter melon, you think this is going to be a wonderfully great tasting dish. And whoa, yeah, your first taste is, wow, that's bitter. But you get used to it, it nurtures you, and it is a meal. And that metaphor for us was something that, you were, it's hard to take, but you're going to live through this. And many of these people persevered. The first generation saved money making $1 a day. And then afterwards, they sent their children to Stanford, to UC. There was one family, it's an extraordinary story, the Chuns. Next door to them was a whorehouse right on Main Street of Locke, and they had 8 children. And I interviewed Lorraine Chung recently and said, what was it like growing up next to a whorehouse? And she said, oh, well, you know, we just played and minded our own business and we didn't hear anything. 6 of those children went to UC Berkeley.
Wow.
2 of them went to some kind of beautician school and became professionals. That's the story up and down the 2 streets of that town, was incredible perseverance and success of the next generation.
And that's what makes America so beautiful. You can go from one place to the next in one generation or less. Well, Jeff, we want to thank you for being here with us today. For more information about Bitter Melon, you can log on to bittermelon.com. That's bittermelon.com. We'll be back with more Bay Sunday after this break.